Hi guys. I'm going to start off with the poem about the English Defence League. You all know the English Defence League? Anyone like the English Defence League? Cool. So, please check my multicultural. Every time I pull my Islamic ray gun out its holster, the master race run with Tommy Robinson leading up front, clearly eager to evade these deadly Islamic rays. My Islamic ray gun weighs a ton. It must be based on some thinly veiled racist story in the Sun, or some bigoted tale from the hate-filled pages of the Daily Mail. An international conspiracy. Al-Qaeda mission to trick everyone into eating halal chicken. The plot thickens. I'm implicating everybody. This even goes all the way up to Coral, Kentucky. So stay alert. An Islamic ray gun is now set to convert this drunken mass of hardened brass, knuckle-dragging fascist thugs, laughing at the Pakistan floods, chanting no surrender to the Taliban as if the Taliban were actually attacking us. So no hurrahs for these latter-day black shirts. And as for their apparently Anglo-Saxon blood, I have to ask, is it pure? How pure? Pure? Are you sure? Purer than a drop of whiskey from the island of Jura? And if not, then you need to speak to the Führer. In all honesty, the immigration policy would probably remove about 90% of the populace, and all those that remained would be the people that existed since the last ice age. So in this time we will conquer, and all through the streets of Bolton wonder, were it not for this. Shimmering in the silver crescent moon, the trigger of my Islamic ray gun, and I'm going to press it soon. Hear it echo through the minarets and citadels to dispel the SDL, the Northwest infidels, and anyone else who goose steps and zig hells. My Islamic ray gun is now set to kill! But wait, maybe that makes us just as bad if we fail to engage and simply stand and rant and rage and say that we'll acquaint their faces with the pavement and all power comes from the barrel of an Islamic ray gun. Or maybe violence is the only language these animals understand, but even if you think that the far-right threat remains minuscule, I'm still setting my weapon full power to ridicule. Another little Leo Trotsky reference. So, this next thing, I'm not from around here, you can probably tell from the accent. I'm actually from South London. Before that, I came from Scotland, and we recently had a referendum. I don't know if you guys heard about it. So, this is kind of my thoughts on the referendum, and I hope everyone still agrees with me after. Aspect to aspect, moment to moment, roaming and gloaming by the bonny banks of Loch Lomond, the silver ripples skimming stones, wondering if I'm ever going to sit upon a gilded throne when, glancing upwards, what did I chance to spy? Two crisscrossed airplane vapour trails amidst the sky, mesmerised and temporarily lost in the smoke screen. I emerged post-referendum September 2014, tripping out my face as I was traipsing through the heather, thinking, will me and my true love meet again ever? Saw a drunk man talk to a thistle, and what was weirder, the thistle responded to him in the voice of Harry Lauder. This is the vision I saw. If you wanted to progress, the only way we can get it all is if we all vote yes. Yes! The only way to make time travel possible. Yes! Otherwise things are going to be utterly horrible. Yes! Otherwise things are going to be pure terrible. Vote yes! Vote yes! Vote yes! Vote yes! And then I saw Bonnie Prince Charlie looking up from the shortbread tin, a whole identity inscribed, his face with a half-dead grin. He is all within, so we begin to dream and to aspire, and go and throw the Covenanters bones stones into the bonfire and raise the saltire above the resurgent Scottish Empire and resurrect the ancient kingdom of West Ayrshire, you'll be amazed as it's raised from the wave. The centre of administration will be Ailsa Craig. Remember all the traitors, faces and names and the way they behaved. If you hate the F in English, it's okay, we can make them our slaves. And make Sean Connery governor of a colony in Darien in Panama sitting with Dougie Donnelly. From Tillicountry to Stirling, Inverness to Irvine, Galashiels to Girvan, will excel at the sport of curling. All of this is 100% accurate, more or less. The only way we can get it all is if we all vote yes. Yes to the wind, throw all of your caution. Yes, you know that it's the only sensible option. Yes, you know that it will be fucking awesome. Yes, vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. So, whether you're a Ouija or whether you're a tutor, all aboard the Megabus to Freedom with Brian Suter. Or if you don't want to follow any leaders and you think that it has to be perfect like Eddie Reader, and that's fair grounds for attraction, fair grounds for finally driving out the bullet-headed Saxon, finally ending the enmity between Rangers and Celtic. Alex Salmond is going to personally invade Berwick, looking bold and imperious, wearing a sexy uniform with his lance in hand, riding on a unicorn, accompanied at all times by the monster from Loch Ness. But the only way we can get it all is if we all vote yes. Yes! You know that it's going to be fucking amazing. Yes! Stop going about lazing. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Vote yes, vote yes, vote. Yeah. Cool. There's a few like cultural references that you might not get in there if you're English, but I got good stuff. If you didn't get them, then you're part of the problem. So there's another referendum that happened. I wrote this one specifically for tonight, so hopefully it won't be shite. But the EU referendum I'm talking about. So I started thinking about how it all began as I ran gleefully along a beach in Crete wielding a super soaker and inadvertently stumbled over the spot where Zeus seduced Europa. He changed into a bull at the side of the pool, the lifeguards were raging. I was distracted as the stars collapsed and reassembled in a circular formation, blinking in the indigo twilight. That was amazing. Tyrant of this particular mythos that came down from Mount Olympus, set off to join the French resistance, armed with a silver discus, a magnificent vision of a united Europe glistening in the near distance. And this was often discussed amongst the popular fronts and certainly said not only once, in several hundred tongues in every dialect and language, that war and tyranny would be forever vanquished if we could put the fascist jackboot on the back foot. And war was vanquished, not including Yugoslavia, Ukraine, Ireland, Georgia, Chechnya, South Ossetia. Those are just the ones that rhyme. And fascism was also vanished, not including Franco in Spain, Portugal, Greece, Hungary, Croatia, and again Ukraine, where Catherine Ashton gave the nod to actual neo-Nazis sitting in Parliament. But for the sake of argument, let's say the EU has secured peace and freedom across the continent. So the people of Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Sierra Leone, as we reduced our homes and cities to ashes and embers, we're pleased that we were doing it to them and not to our fellow EU members. This is not in any particular order or set in any specific territory. I was also a peasant in the Holy Roman Empire in the 16th century, and I dreamed of a scheme where you wouldn't need to change currency when you went on holiday, and also that one day we would have a common agricultural policy and spend vast subsidies to throw food away and devastate the rural economies of developing countries and reduce them to poverty. Sing from the same hymn sheet and never send our children to die for their respective fatherlands. Yodel in the Alps without triggering an avalanche. Dance and sing along the Berlin Wall and wave Kalashnikovs. Unify the German nation with the help of David Hasselhoff. Some people sit in the darkness, afraid to come into the light. Some people need to emerge from the cave. Mad troglodytes just need to escape and stop talking shite. So this is the story of how the EU came into being, and every European got the right to not be drowned in the Aegean. If I'm thinking about it, we probably should have just cut our losses at the Palace of Knossos and concluded that Europe was doomed to be ruled by a bunch of tossers. Thanks. I'm the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon me, in the Arabian Peninsula, circa 570 AD, looking resplendent in my emerald robe. Everybody listened up to my prophecy foretold as I rode where the Euphrates flowed on the road to Damascus, flanked by sarin gas canisters, jihadis scattered on behalf of their imperial masters. Surveyed the lay of the land from Baghdad to the Bosphorus, saw the hanging gardens of Babylon illuminated with white phosphorus. I'm the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon me. Who am I to criticise Charlie Hebdo editorial policy? I'm all about the prophecy, and it's going to be fulfilled soon. I don't mind being lampooned in a satirical cartoon, even if I think that the cartoons were actually pretty racist. Even if hundreds of Muslims are murdered on a daily basis, you should still respect that secular French tradition that takes the piss out of religion and joins in NATO bombing missions, gets anti-clerical upon the walls of Jericho and spreads the message of satire all throughout the empire. I'm the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon me, in the basement of a pub doing performance poetry, standing up stoically for the right to be offended, but how and where that right is exercised is another question. Maybe not aiming constantly at oppressed minorities, and not just simply because you're worried that somebody murders you. Well, I understand what people might say that I've said is offensive, and I totally understand that, and I totally respect it. So if there is anybody out there that is a member of ISIS, I really, 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 really hope you didn't like this. Thanks. So, I guess I'll finish on this one. Hopefully you'll all like it. It's about Nelson Mandela, how it's being nice about it. Nelson Mandela died at the age 95. I should say before I start this, actually, the word "we" is used throughout this. In Scotland, that means little, I know it means something down here, so try not to laugh. Don't take the piss out of my Nelson Mandela died today, aged 95, and it made me remember when I first heard of him when I was a wee guy. In Safeways one time, possibly shopping for bottles of wine, and my mum said not to get South African kind. An explanation followed of apartheid South Africa, the Soweto uprising, the Sharpeville massacre. Why would anyone do that, Mum? I remember asking her, and as was often the answer, it was something to do with Maggie Thatcher. I realise that might all sound a bit Guardian reader, but that was how I first heard of the ANC leader Madiba. It was the first time I remember hating racism, my introduction to social justice and internationalism. The next day in school, I'm writing in my news jotter, did a little story all about Nelson Mandela. Said there was a black guy in Africa that was in jail, and did a little picture of him sitting in his cell, and said that when me and my mate Alan turned 10, we were going to go over to Africa and break Mandela out the pen. Then, fast forward to 1990, just a few months shy of my 10th birthday, 18 months to be precise. I see on BBC that Mandela's free, Desmond Tutu's dancing about and shouting yippee, and I'm not saying that FW de Klerk had what we were planning, knew about me and Alan, we were coming, but he might have done, he probably didn't, he must have done in fact, and that's how we set Mandela's freedom on a fast track. Fast forward a few more years to 2014. A whole bunch of stuff has happened in the years in between, but I'm still just that wee guy shopping for wine in Safeway, a bit more hairy, a bit more jaded maybe, but I still hate racism, I still want justice, I still spend my time fighting for left-wing causes. I see on my Facebook news feed that Mandela's deed. It's all very moving, and I think I'm going to greet is the word. Fast forward a few more days to the funeral. The outpouring of grief is truly incredible. Even the President of the United States takes a break from bombing Afghan weddings and wakes to make a statement about how Mandela made him want to be a better man and be less like Patrick Bateman. I'm paraphrasing. But it was words to that effect, and I've actually got a few suggestions for him in that respect. If he really wants to be a better man, he could close Guantanamo and get the troops out of Afghanistan, and if he wants his selfie to get a few more likes, he can stop coordinating all these murderous drone strikes. Just stop. But if he doesn't, when me and my mate Alan turn 45, we're going to go over there and give him the fright of his life. And it worked last time, I think, if you remember, so watch out, Obama, R.I.P. Mandela. Thank you very much.